Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today is gonna be different. I don't know what edit was. It's Mobison, sorry. We're gonna take a look at a new season on my channel. Is it worth it in 2020? Today we're gonna take a look which phone is worth it 2020. We're gonna talk about the RAM, the camera, the CPU, screen, um, battery, especially the battery, things like that. So we're gonna take a look at a very different phone today. It's the benQ f52. This phone really stands out for me on GSM Arena for some reason. If you don't know what GSM Arena is, it's basically a site where they have all the phones and some tablets. They definitely don't have all of them, but they do have a lot. For example, they don't have the Arco 70 Copper and the Lenovo Tab M10 HD, which is kind of odd because the Tab M10 is quite a good tablet. But we're gonna take a look at this phone. It's the latest phone from benQ, but is it worth it in 2019? Let's first start with the screen. The screen is pretty small, 5 to 2 inches, but it was a pretty big deal in 2015. Even the Samsung Galaxy S5, which is small for today, had a 5.1 inch screen and was called almost a phablet in that year, which is quite surprising. 1080p is definitely a good resolution. It's the standard of 2020. Although I am using a 720p display in 2020, I think 720p is fine. I can't see any pixels. Sometimes when gaming I can see it, but I still think 720p just has to be the bare minimum specs. So 1080p definitely gets past. 5 to 2 inches is a bit small though. Those bezels are pretty chunky, especially the bottom bezel, which stands out for me. 6 or 2 inches is too big though, so I really want a phone with 5.8 inches. So it's a bit small display, but you're gonna get some really good DPI, or I mean PPI on this slash pixels per inch. You're gonna get really good PPI on this, like you can't see any pixels. I can definitely admit that. 30 megapixel camera is definitely a good thing. I'm still using a 30 megapixel camera. I'm using a 2019 Motorola One Macro. Battery is pretty small though. The Samsung Galaxy S5 had quite a big battery, the 5.1 inch screen, and a 2800 milliamp hour battery. Although it sucked when it's updated to Android 5.1 Lollipop, and sucks really bad at battery when updated to Android 6.0.1, which is the maximum. So if this phone doesn't have any software updates, I think this battery is fine for it. Although I've seen phones with smaller screens with a battery that's almost as big, such as my LG G2 Mini, which has a 2400 milliamp hour battery and has a 4.7 inch screen. But that is also a uh, 540 540 pixel screen, so that I don't really know, but it's not gonna be that much, especially since it's in 1080p display. It's gonna suck more. But yeah, we're also gonna talk about the colors. 2015 is definitely old, to be honest. You definitely gotta upgrade. I mean, I can kind of give you an exception if you're using a 2016 device, and 2017. If you're really one of those guys who don't want to upgrade and use 2017 phone, you're fine. But 2016, it's definitely time to upgrade, guys. Anyways, it has an IPS LCD display, which is way better than TFT, but TFT is way better outside, so it depends on your taste. I like IPS displays more. Just take the Sony Xperia M for example. That one has a very good TFT display. I thought TFT displays were trash back in the day until I got that Xperia M, so I thought it for a really long time. But that Xperia M has a very good screen. I gotta be honest, it gets pretty bright, although indoors it doesn't get that bright. It gets too bright or not bright enough. Let me just turn the brightness a bit down of my phone. There we go. Anyways, IPS LCD is definitely good. No, don't know if it's made out of glass screen, but I can admit it is. Android 5.0 Lollipop is out of date, guys. Sorry, get a new phone. You definitely need 5.1.1, which is the latest version of Lollipop, minimum. Because if you're under that, you don't have the newest Play Store, and that means Play Store updates are gone. Slash, some apps aren't even gonna support your specs anymore in like 5 years. Sounds like a lot, but I already have it on the Medion. It's quite crappy to have that, especially when you're a phone collector and you really want to get a really basic spec phone like the Medion P4013. That one doesn't support apps like, take for example, Re-Racing 3, and the Alcatel One Star has and newer software, plus it has a better, I think a tiny bit better CPU, but it has less RAM, but it still can run that, so it really depends on your taste, but come on guys, get a new phone. You, especially if you're really the bare minimum of other really super tiny updates, I will just do 6.1. 6.0, I mean. I'm using 6.0 on my tablet and that's fine. But 5.1.1 is the bare minimum. Qualcomm Snapdragon 615. So this is a bit of a weird one. I have no freaking idea what the 615 is. I do have experience with the Snapdragon 800 series, like the older 801. I used that one. It is in the Galaxy S5. It's pretty snappy in 2020, to be honest. But I have no idea about the 615. Never heard of it as well. I know a lot about CPUs, but I never heard of the 615, guys. So if you have any questions about the CPU, sorry, I can't answer them. The Adreno 405, I can answer. It definitely gets the job done because I'm using the 305, which is 100 points less. I'm not using it currently. I use it on the Xperia M, and the Xperia M can actually game pretty solid, especially for 2013 device budget or like mid range it was. Can game pretty solid. It games better than the Octo One Star, definitely. Doesn't it kind of heats up, but that's to be expected. I have way more budget phones that kind of heat up. Although problems I have experience with Qualcomm phones is, or they're freaking slow, or they get hot, or they suck at battery life, or both, or all of them free. That can also be it. Like when LG G2 isn't a heater, but it kind of gets a little bit warm when you play YouTube, but the battery doesn't suck on that, so I'm not gonna talk about too much about that. If you're lucky, they don't suck, but I mean, depends on your taste. I'm a MediaTek guy. I'm using MediaTek Helio P70. It's very snappy, as you can see. Just directly closes things. 16 gigs is definitely not enough memory. I'm using 64 gigs. And look at how much storage I have available, guys. 2.6 gigs free. I'm dying on storage. My phone, poor little moto. 2 gigs of RAM is kind of enough. It's definitely a good choice for Android 5.0. You're gonna have a lot of multitasking pleasure with such a low Android version with a lot of RAM. I even saw Android phones with 2 gigs of RAM running Android 10. I mean, if it was 1 gig of RAM, I probably wouldn't say it's enough because Android 5.1, especially the Qualcomm phones, suck at multitasking on Android 5 with 1 gig of RAM. It sucks straight up, especially the Snapdragon 400. So 2 gigs of RAM is a sweet point. eMMC 4.5, I think my phone is also using that. It's pretty fast storage, to be honest. It's fine. I don't know about storage speed. I don't care about it either. It gets the job done. 13 megapixel AF camera. It's just normal autofocus. It's not PDA AF, which is, I think it means something with the point you're doing at, but I am using laser autofocus and it sucks. Sorry guys, I think the normal autofocus like this thing is using is fine. Although I'm using laser autofocus also in my videos I film and it sucks. I have no idea why. I thought it was like they said, like this blazing fast focusing, but it's not, it's slow. So yeah, it could be a focusing issue, I have no idea. Don't know about video specs, but I think it has 1080p 30 FPS, I can guarantee you that. Self camera 8 megapixel is definitely ahead of its time. I'm using 8 megapixel, it's very good quality, very sharp selfies. Bluetooth 4.0, kind of old, 5.0 is out, but I'm using 5.2 or 5.1. I don't know. It's 4.1. It's fine. Wi-Fi BGN. I have no idea. It's just Wi-Fi, man. Who cares? Um, NFC, which is pretty surprising. No radio, which kind of sucks. I'm using it. Micro USB, but that doesn't matter. We're gonna take a look about the color. The battery is removable, so you can maybe upgrade it. But if you're gonna get like a €4 or a so-called 4000 milliamp hour battery, like I got scammed on that once with my S5, it is less than the original battery. So don't buy those. Just keep the original battery if you can only find one of those. Ugh, I don't like that pink color. Although it is kind of textured. If you look really closely, don't know about the quality of my screen recorder. It is textured and the speaker is kind of big. So yeah. End result, it's kind of definitely a decent device, especially the display. For 2015, 1080p was very good. 30 megapixels gonna be fine, 2 gigs RAM is gonna be fine. No idea about that Snapdragon processor. Battery is gonna be kind of fine, I guess, but not if it's very old. I mean, bad phone brands make bad batteries, especially. Shit, what was that called again? It was a very ancient brand. One of those Indian brands. All their phones had sucking batteries. I can guarantee you that. I don't know their brand anymore. But yeah, see you later.